Tonight on News Final.
A chemical spill in St. Boniface sends 3 people to hospital. Buying a new car? Some dealerships offer up extra incentive. And saying goodbye to a local broadcasting legend.
From the Global Winnipeg Studios, News Final with Eva Kovacs.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. A chemical spill in the St. Boniface Industrial Park sent 3 people to hospital this evening. The call came in just after 6 at the Habitat for Humanity Restore on Archibald. Emergency crews cordoned off the area as they figured out if the fumes were toxic. They determined the substance was paint thinner that didn't pose an airborne health risk. 2 employees at the business suffered chemical burns to their bodies, and a 3rd person was taken to hospital as a precaution. A number of people were taken to hospital after a multi-vehicle pileup east of Portage la Prairie tonight. It happened before 8 o'clock on Highway 1. RCMP say 5 cars were sent crashing into each other's bumpers in a chain reaction collision. While police will not confirm how many people were hurt, they did say quite a few people were taken to hospital with minor injuries. Officers are still trying to determine what caused the pileup. Next week, the trial begins for Vince Lee, the accused in last summer's beheading aboard a Greyhound bus. Today in Brandon, a vigil was held for the victim, Tim McLean.
I wanted to offer support and encouragement to Carol because I know how hard this is going to be for her next week.
At the vigil, Tim's mother, Carol Dedeli, rallied support for justice for her son. She's concerned Vince Lee may be found not criminally responsible for the death because of mental illness and ultimately be spared jail time. So she's proposing Tim's Law to ensure brutal killers are never given the chance for release, whether mentally ill or not.
Be treated, you can be managed, but it needs to be done behind locked bars for the rest of your life. At the end of this fight that I'm fighting now, I'm not going to have my son back, but I may be able to prevent another family from going through what my family is currently going through.
If you'd like more information on Tim's Law, send an email to tims.law@shaw.ca. Whether they were country music fans or not, hundreds of Manitobans said goodbye to a veteran broadcaster tonight.
It always made me laugh when I listened to him.
Well, it's going to be a tremendous loss. You know, he contributed a lot to the city of Winnipeg, and I think they're going to miss him.
On what would have been Ron Abel's 58th birthday, family, friends, and fans gathered at Canadians Polo Park to celebrate his life. Abel was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in January and died February 13th. For the past 12 years, he hosted the morning show on QX 104 with Caroline Hunter.
We said we were together longer than any of our other relationships was the one we had on the air with each other. And, you know, we told each other the truth, which sometimes doesn't always happen in the real deal. So we had a great run. I'm very, very grateful.
And you were there.
You're watching News Final, live on Global Winnipeg.
Many Manitobans are surprised to find out what their car insurance money is paying for. Manitoba Public Insurance is purchasing a downtown Winnipeg shopping center. MPI is spending $81.5 million to buy the 9-story Cityplace building. Autopac already occupies 80% of the office space there. The Crown Corporation says this will save money in the long run. It won't have to pay rent and will make money from parking and other tenants.
This is an asset of the corporation that will be used to lower our cost of operating expenses. That does enable us to provide lower rates in the future.
Manitoba's opposition is concerned the deal will hurt ratepayers. The Tories are worried the building's value could fall in the recession. Meanwhile, those of you shopping for a new car could be in for some extra incentives. The dealerships aren't just lowering prices, they're throwing in fancy bonuses like boats and tropical vacations. One local dealership is giving away boats and ATVs worth thousands of dollars with the purchase of a truck. Others are giving away trips to Mexico and Las Vegas. It's part of an aggressive, even desperate bid to sell cars. Retail sales across Canada plunged 5.4% in December, the biggest monthly decline in 15 years. Most of the drop was due to a big decline in automobile sales.
Our promotions right now are probably the largest I've seen ever. Been in the business over 22 years.
The days of people just walking through the door are slowly going away. We have to take a look at, our existing clientele.
Winnipeg car dealers say February is the slowest month for business, so most of those deals will end this weekend. Well, Andrea's in with weather, and I can't say that a warm destination vacation wouldn't be welcome right now.
Yeah, just about you have to buy a car to get it.
Exactly.
But yeah, very chilly still out there. Not as bad as it was last night, though, so we're slowly climbing out of that deep freeze. In Winnipeg, we're at -21 under partly cloudy skies. Winds at the south-southwest at 26. And if you factor in the wind chill, it feels around -34. So that's much better than the -40s last night. Temperatures will slowly, steadily climb over the weekend. I will have your full forecast in a few minutes. Eva.
Thanks, Andrea. And still to come tonight, a travel warning for Canadians and a change of plan by the U.S. President Obama unveils his timetable for leaving Iraq. Those stories on the way.
In your seat, please. Boys?
How you folks doing today?
Great, thanks.
Sirloin Uncle Burger. Good choice.
I know we said we'd stop at 4, but I still want to try for a girl. Really? You know what? You can pick the name.
Sirloin. That's a pretty name.
For a girl?
Which girl?
Our daughter.
Lose yourself in an Uncle Burger at A&W.
It's time to gear up for this year's Cerebral Palsy Stationary Bike Race. Come out and help raise money for Manitoba individuals and their families affected by cerebral palsy. For more information about the bike race or to make a donation, please call 982-4842.
The Brick's famous Boxing Day is back this weekend at the Brick. This Maytag fridge is only $4.99. The Sony 37-inch LCD is only $6.98. Plus, you don't pay for 15 months. Saturday and Sunday only at the Brick.
One night of the symphony and the music of the Bee Gees, the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, and Staying Alive at the Centennial Concert Hall, Saturday, March 7th at 8 p.m. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca or 780-3333.
There are cinnamon rolls. And then there are new Pillsbury Grand's Flaky Supreme Cinnamon Rolls. Made with Cinnabon cinnamon. See the difference?
Just before she steps away from the spotlight, Celine Dion returns home inside her exclusive TV appearance on the next ET Canada.
U.S. President Barack Obama followed through on a campaign promise today, ordering American troops out of Iraq in the next 18 months. He made the announcement at a military base in North Carolina. It's a slower withdrawal than he initially promised, but still a major shift in U.S. policy. Obama saying the combat mission will end by August 31st, 2010. Winding down the Iraq war will allow Obama to boost troop numbers in Afghanistan and will also help him reduce a ballooning $1.3 trillion budget deficit.
We sent our troops to Iraq to do away with Saddam Hussein's regime, and you got the job done. To the Iraqi people, let me be clear about America's intentions. The United States pursues no claim on your territory or your resources.
Canadian and U.S. authorities have now issued travel advisories for travelers heading to Mexico. Canada's Department of Foreign Affairs is warning people to exercise a high degree of caution, avoiding large demonstrations and protesters. They're also warning about drug-related violence in cities across North Mexico. Dramatic video of a highway crash being revealed tonight that shows a tractor-trailer colliding with an SUV. A Florida driver used her cell phone to record it when she spotted the SUV swerving in and out of traffic. The SUV driver suffered serious injuries. And it's a messy way to pray. Dozens of men gathered on the outskirts of Tokyo earlier this week to take part in an ancient ritual. Wearing only loincloths, they braved near freezing temperatures to pray in a rice paddy for good health and good fortune. As usual, things descended into a muddy free-for-all. The Naked Festival is held every year at a shrine east of Tokyo, and some of the men decided to spread the blessing by, yes, as you saw, smearing mud on the spectators. Well, near freezing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that would fly here.
Much too cold to even attempt that.
Certainly not this time of year. Yeah.
Plus, the pond would be frozen anyways.
Exactly.
So yeah, the cold weather keeping up, but we're actually going to slowly, steadily climb out of it over the weekend, so that's reassuring. Over the radar tonight across the province, still some clouds hanging, but it's not too bad. But actually last night was much clearer, and that's where we ran into trouble. We had clear skies, light winds, and just very cold Arctic air hanging over the province, and that's what sent us down into the deep freeze. And actually a few places across the province last night set new record lows: Thompson, Island Lake, Melita, Pinawa, Fisher Branch. So it was a very cold night. Tonight slightly better as that high pressure that was pulling down that cold core of Arctic air is moving off. So no wind chill warnings for the province tonight, although we are still seeing some wind chills in the -30s, and temperatures again will slowly start climbing over the weekend. Northern Manitoba right now, we are seeing some flurries, Thompson and Norway House. Tomorrow looks like a clear, cold day, sunshine across the region. Temperatures actually not too bad, getting in the -teens, still though cold in Churchill, -28 for you. Southwestern Manitoba, clear skies, but already down to -26 in Minnedosa and Brandon. But hey, at least we're in the -20s and not the -30s again. Sunshine across the board tomorrow with highs in the mid-teens. Now for us in the southeast, kind of cloudy right now, and temperatures around -20. Tack on the wind chill and it feels like the -30s, but better than the -40s that we felt like last night. Sunshine tomorrow, highs around -15 degrees for most of us. And taking a look at the long range, well, steadily climbing over the weekend. We should get back into the -teens by Sunday, and then early next week, those nighttime temperatures should get back into the -teens instead of the -20s. So getting back near seasonal. Sunshine the next few days, and then a big warm up on the way midweek next week, aiming for -1s. And we are going to see some snow moving in Thursday, but we'll take the snow if it means warmer weather. And that's your forecast.
Thanks, Andrea. And Russ is in with sports, and the Moose finally back home. They've been on the road for an awfully long time.
Yeah, fans craving their AHL hockey. They had a sold-out lower bowl for tonight's game against the Peoria Rivermen, and over 14,000 tickets sold for tomorrow night's game in the rematch. So lots of people attending the Moose games this weekend as Moose look for 4 points against Peoria. Highlights and more when we return.
No, he's out there.
The Manitoba Moose just glad to be back on home ice again after going nearly a full month without a single home game. The Moose snapped a 3-game losing skid to wrap up the road swing and are still in first place overall in the entire AHL. Tonight, the Moose played their first of 4 in a row on home ice as they took on the Peoria Rivermen at a sold-out MTS Center. The lower bowl was full tonight, and former Moose goalie Manny Legacy getting the start tonight for Peoria after his demotion from the St. Louis Blues, while Scott Arneal was going with the veteran Curtis Sanford. First period, and Tom Maxwell sneaks behind the defense, but he can't beat Legacy. And Sanford also doing his part as he makes a couple of nice stops to keep things scoreless. Later in the first, Sean Heschke at the blue line winds and fires, and Guillaume Desbiens gets a stick on it, tipping it past Legacy, and his 16th of the season had the Moose in the driver's seat. In the second, Alex Bolduc racing in with Michael Grabner on the 2-on-1, flips it out front, but Grabner unable to bat it in. Then it's Jason Krog with the nice saucer pass to Grabner, but it's knocked down by Legacy, who covers up on the goal line. So the Moose would take a 1-goal lead to the third, and early in the final frame, Dusty Collins backhands in the loose puck to put the Moose up by 2. Then, not long after, Jason Jaffrey centers for Bolduc. He scores his 11th, and the Moose add an empty netter as they kick off the homestand with a convincing 4-0 victory. Their AHL leading 40th win. Bolduc also had the empty netter. Sanford making 18 saves for his 3rd shutout, and it's the same 2 teams at it again tomorrow night. Well, despite winning just twice over their last 6 games at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, the Team Canada Jennifer Jones rink from Winnipeg still gaining a spot in a tiebreaker. But now it was must-win time for the Jones foursome as they took on Prince Edward Island this afternoon in Victoria. We'll pick it up in the 4th end with PEI already leading 3-0. And once again,
Final
Jones looking at 2 PEI stones. This time, however, she could make a play on them, and Jones would make the raised double takeout and sticker shooter for 2 to get right back in the game. 5th end, and Robin McPhee with a pressure-packed last draw. Canada lying 2 behind cover, and McPhee having to draw full 8 to get out of the end with the lead. She makes it, and it was 4-2 for the Islanders. Make or break shot for Jones in the 6th, facing 4 and needing to roll in off one of the red stones for 1. And that's why she throws last rock, as she can handle the pressure. And Canada picks up 1 to trail by 1. 10th end, Jones down by 1 without the hammer, and suddenly the break's going Canada's way. McPhee looking at 3, has a play on the shot stone, but her rock won't curl enough. Canada steals 1 to send it to an extra end. In the 11th, Canada is shot rock with last rock coming. McPhee looking to tap the yellow stone to lie 1 for the win. Makes the hit, but rolls just a wee bit too far. And it's the great escape for Canada as they move on to Saturday's 3 versus 4 game against Saskatchewan.
For Team BC.
The 1 versus 2 game going tonight between BC and Quebec, with the winner to advance right to the final. They exchange singles back and forth right to the 6th end, but then already lying 1 with the hammer. Marla Mallet has a shot for as many as 5. Mallet eliminates 1 red rock, but not the other. She still scores 3, mind you, and she now leads at 7-3 in the 9th end. At the Manitoba Seniors, the men playing in Carman with draw 8 now in the books. Hamyota's Brent Strachan, the only undefeated rink remaining at 4-0. Meanwhile, the senior women playing at the Fort Garry with draw 8 just complete. Chris Scalena and Linda Van Dale both still unbeaten. The Blue Bombers made 3 moves today, signing 2 players and releasing another. Both defensive linemen Dorian Smith and Keith Saunders signing contracts to play in the blue and gold. Both have attended NFL camps, and Smith actually spent about 3 weeks on the Bombers practice roster last season. In another move, the Bombers have released defensive back Michael Roberts. In other CFL news, after being released by the Blue Bombers, linebacker Cam Hall has resurfaced in Montreal after signing with the Alouettes. Hull was one of the Bombers' leaders on defense last season with 69 defensive tackles, and he had 77 in 07 and getting named the Bombers' Rookie of the Year. In the CIS, the Winnipeg Westmen making a quick exit from the CIS National Championship in men's volleyball. The Westmen swept in 3 straight by Laval, so Winnipeg drops into the consolation where they will face Thompson Rivers tomorrow. In the NHL tonight, it was the Flames and Wild, scoreless through 1, but Calgary strikes for 2 goals in the first 37 seconds of the second as Dion Phaneuf's blast puts the Flames up by 2. Then, with it 3-0 in the 3rd, Mike Camilleri, the original shot, gets it right back and tucks it in. He'd have 2 on the night as Calgary goes on to a 4-1 victory. Meanwhile, the Canadians in Philly and the Flyers strike early and often as they take a 2-goal lead quickly. But the Habs battle back with 3 unanswered goals. Alexei Kovalev's 15th gives the Canadians the lead. Late second now, and Simone Gagne on the break tucks it in. And 60 minutes wouldn't decide a thing. But in the extra frame, a pinching Matthew Schneider bulges the mess for the game winner as the Habs take it by a final of 4-3. Elsewhere tonight, the Penguins making a visit to the Windy City. The Pens take an early 2-goal lead, but then Winnipeg's Jonathan Toews takes matters into his own hands. His 23rd made it a 1-goal game. Then on the power play, Toews strikes again. He would add another goal for the hat trick, and he had a 4th goal disallowed. But the Hawks suffer a 5-4 loss in OT.
And penalty-free
to Motown as the LA Kings were paying a visit to face the Red Wings. Scoreless through 1, but here in the second, Winnipeg's Derek Meach pounces on the rebound as he opens the scoring with his 2nd of the season and 2nd of his career. Detroit was on top, and the Wings would go on to a 2-1 victory. The Vancouver Canucks also in action tonight, and they are tied 1-1 with the Bolts in the 3rd. Former Moose Alex Edler scoring for Van City. In the dub tonight, the Saskatoon Blades scoring the go-ahead goal with just 7 minutes left as they knock off the Wheaties 4-3. The playoffs beginning tonight in the MJHL. The Winnipeg Saints throttle the Nipawin Natives to take Game 1 9-2. Elsewhere, Selkirk wins Game 1 4-1 over Winkler. In the Sherwood Division, OCN takes the 1-game upper hand on the Dauphin Kings, while the Portage Terriers edge way for the 1-0 series lead. MMJHL now, River East down Stonewall by a final of 3-2. It was the Canucks upsetting the Twins 7-6, and the Charleswood Hawks win their 6th in a row 2-1 over the Twisters. In the high school hockey league playoffs, it was Game 1 in Division 1 between the Oak Park Raiders and the Ravenscourt Eagles in black. Oak Park took a 3-goal lead to the 3rd, and they build on that as Jeffrey Borst tips in the point shot. Oak Park in full control, up 5-1. And then, just for good measure, David LaFlèche races in, shoots, and scores. And Oak Park takes a 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 series with a 6-1 victory. 4 other games, the Crusaders go up 1-0 on the Westwood Warriors with a 3-1 victory. In Division 2, the Titans move within a game of moving on as they knock off the Springfield Sabres. Maples, 5-1 winners over Fort Richmond in Game 1. And it was St. Norbert 4 and Kettleton East just 2 as the Celtics push the Reavers to the brink of elimination. Women's action now. Oak Park moves on with a 2-game sweep of Vincent Massey. The Stonewall Rams push their series with Sanford to a 3rd in deciding game. Kelvin wins Game 1 of their series with St. Mary's. Balmoral Hall, 3-1 winners over Lord Selkirk. And the Portage Saints into the next round with a 2-game sweep of the St. Norbert Celtics. And that's sports.
All right, thanks, Russ. Well, coming up after the break, some of our city's emergency responders are engaging in a little competition themselves. Why they're rolling up their sleeves for a friendly fight.
Authentic cafe-style coffee with 80% less fat. Skinny cappuccino. New from Nescafe.
Amazing things happen when you really hear somebody. That's why Sun Life listens to Canadians. What we hear turns...
Doing today?
Great, thanks.
Sirloin.
City's police, firefighters, and paramedics are witness to many accidents and injuries. From what they see on the front lines, they know the importance of having blood banks stocked and ready for victims. Today, members of the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service and police rolled up their sleeves to launch the Sirens for Life Blood Challenge. For the past 4 years, they've partnered with Canadian Blood Services. Sirens for Life is a national contest, a bit of friendly competition between first responders. Both services are hoping 9% of their members donate. And if you want to help out by donating, contact Canadian Blood Services and let them know which team you support. It's funny how you throw in a competition and all of a sudden people are much more eager to participate. I don't know what it is.
Everyone wants to win.
Everyone wants to win. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Have a good one.
See you, folks.
Beauty